And it says we're live now. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Collect All Monsters. Let me check my mobile device because I'm doing the producing and the hosting. I'm doing everything. So just bear with me. Let's see if everything is going all right. Let's see. Bear with me. Okay, shut up, Leslie. All right, folks. Again, welcome back to another edition of Collect All Monsters. And the title of this supplemental discussion is Building Up the Galloping Ghost with the awesome Doc Mack. And as you can see here, I have the man of the hour to my right there, the one and the only Mr. Doc Mack from Galloping Ghost Arcade in Brookfield. Is it Brookfield? Yep. Brookfield, Illinois, as well as the main reason why we're here, Galloping Ghost Kaiju Kobo. It is an awesome resin model kit company, and he's the brainchild behind those two endeavors. But I also know that he owns other businesses. And I asked you this in prep, Doc. I'm going to ask you again. The first obvious question is, how do you sleep? Like, how does that work?
I try to sleep as little as possible. There's a million fun things to do, and I'm fortunate for me. Every day is just having fun and getting to make people happy and working with awesome people, and it's not work. So can't get here early enough and can't stay late enough. So.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to doing this because I know you're busy. Again, you got a lot going on or whatever. So thank you so much for taking the time to really for being here with us on Collect All Monsters. Welcome to Collect All Monsters. It's your first time being here, and as I said to you in our prep, it definitely will not be the last. So again, on behalf of everybody here on Collect All Monsters, David, Christine, John, Kyle, and everybody that support us, thank you so much for being here. We really do appreciate it.
I appreciate you having me on. It's awesome to get to talk to everybody about this stuff. So
no problem. And let's go to the next guest. And these next two wonderful guests are not only wonderful friends of mine, but they have had a hand in building and painting and assembling to perfection a few of your awesome Galloping Ghost kits. And let's start off with the first guest besides you, Mr. Doc, the one and the only Greg Betters. How you doing, Greg?
Very well. Thank you. Thank you very much for having me on here. This is great. This is awesome.
And of course, last, certainly but not least, this man does not need an introduction. So you know what? I'm not going to give him one. He's just a guy who just showed up for no reason. No, I'm just joking. That's my brother right there. That's my brother from another mother. We did prison time together. We did everything together. Another artist extraordinaire. He's not only a great artist, he is a motivational speaker. He is a pastor. He is a wonderful human being, and one of the most positive pillars in our community right now. The one and the only Marcellus Winters. How you doing, Cellus?
What's up, man? What's up? How y'all doing? Hey, man, I look kind of nice on here at 52. I'm just gotta say it. Okay. I'm just saying.
That's debatable, but that's fine. But,
Oh.
Now, before we get to the questions at hand, let me give a huge shout out to the people that's in the chat right now. Of course, Helmy, what's going on, Helmy? Thank you for being
Helmy.
here. Of course, GMK Lover, y'all know who that is, right? You know exactly who that is. What's up, Sandra? What's up, babe? Again, Marcellus, you know, she's over the moon right now, considering what she got this afternoon. Yeah, she couldn't stop looking at that thing, man. You did your thing, but we'll talk about that at a later date. Black Dolls Matter. Thank you, Mr. Ruffin. Tell John we say hello. Again, back to Sandra again. Of course, Eric Stoke. You know Eric, British Kaiju.
My man.
What's going on, Eric? Let's see who else. Let's see, Tim Bartos. Thank you very much. I guess this would be the official first question for you, Doc. It's from Nathaniel Plummer. He's a huge King Kong Lives fan. Would you be interested in making a King Kong 1986 model kit at some point?
86. Eventually, we want to do everything. It's just one at a time, though. So it doesn't. The more obscure the kit, the more likely we are to do it.
My advice is, if you can do anything for King Kong Lives, can you make Lady Kong dead last? Considering what she, never mind. All right, again, let's go back to the chat. Who's here? Of course, Helmy again. Thank you very much. Nick Adam, Poland,
Hey.
the monster profile.
Don't break my account.
Oh, that's Mark. That's Mark. My bad. Again, back to Helmy.
I got you, Mark.
Is it just me, or is Leslie super soft? Can barely hear. Hold on a second.
He's super soft.
Yeah, I ain't super soft by any means, ladies and gentlemen. So let's see. Back to GMK Lover, Sandra. Of course, Fancies of Cats. Greg and Dot need to see Marcello's legendary Two-Face suit.
Oh, I've seen that.
Who said that?
I saw it. I saw the pictures of those. That suit was, I don't know. I thought you rocked it, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you, Doc. Thank you. Appreciate y'all. They don't know style, man.
Yeah, but Batman sure does. There
y'all go.
So again, we got like 16 people watching. So again, thank you for everybody for being here. We really do appreciate it. But again, Doc, you're like the man of the hour. So we all know that you are a model kit enthusiast. And like I told you in prep, that's like an understatement. Saying you're like a model kit enthusiast is saying Batman has like a lighthearted interest in the crime wave in Gotham City. But before we get to that, you know what? It's a customary thing I ask everybody who's new here to Collect All Monsters. What was the movie that made you a fan? What was your first Godzilla movie that made you a fan? And what is your favorite Godzilla movie if they're one and the same?
Godzilla versus Monster Zero was the first movie I've ever saw. Like, I remember I was 4 or 5 years old. My dad was like, called me into the living room and saw it. And I was really into dinosaurs at the time. And it was just instantly an infatuation. And rented all of them, watched all of them, saw 84 or 85 in the theaters. But like Godzilla, Terror Mecha Godzilla was a favorite for a really long time from the original Showa. So yeah, I would probably say Terror Mecha Godzilla was the favorite.
You know what? You got that in common with Marcellus. That's his favorite too.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I forgot, Greg. What's your favorite? What's your favorite Godzilla movie?
I gotta say, my favorite Godzilla movie would have to be. Man, that's such a hard question, but I love the original King Kong versus Godzilla. It's probably my favorite. The best one, that's my personal favorite. The best one, I think, is -1. That is the best Godzilla movie that has ever been made, I think. But my personal favorite is King Kong versus Godzilla. It just that is the first, like that Doc, that is the first movie I saw. So my first movie I ever saw was a Godzilla movie. And it was actually in the theater. My father took me, they were replaying it back in the 70s. And that was the first movie I ever saw. I didn't know that was two guys in suits beating the hell out of each other. I had no idea. I just thought, oh, there's a giant gorilla and there's Godzilla and that's it. So that is my favorite. The American version too, believe it or not. That's my favorite.
Yeah. You know what? I'm one of the very vocal minority that says I think the American version is the better version. Don't get me wrong, the Japanese version is okay, but that one is just too satirical for my taste. I'd rather just a mindless, just wacky explanation as to why they're here in the first place and why they want to kill each other. It makes no sense, but American version all day for me.
Oh yeah.
But again, it's funny that, again, of course, my favorite, everybody knows, is Mothra vs. Godzilla. But it's funny that both Marcellus and Doc had the same favorite movie. Yeah. Coincidentally celebrating the anniversary in what, 2 weeks? 2 weeks? It turns 50 officially 2 weeks from today, which is actually our next episode on Collect All Monsters. And we're going to do a grand discussion on Terror Mechagodzilla. So please check that out in a couple weeks. Same bat time, same bat channel. Looking forward to that. But yeah, I want to bring this up again. Of course, the monster profile, that is Mark saying gang, Marcellus. You know,
I know.
Okay, yeah. He also said to you earlier, don't break the Mecha King Ghidorah kids.
Yeah, I know. And I got it. I got it together.
Okay.
I think I did a good shipping job.
Okay, good. But going back to the questions, of course, Doc, you know, you're the man of the hour. How long have you been collecting model kits, and how many kits do you have? And
Key question.
Yes.
So I started collecting in right around 2000, and I collected for maybe 5 or 6 years, and then I had about 120 kits at that point.
Jeez.
And I was going to we were refilming our video game, so I sold everything. I was spending so much time on it. KaijuKits.com had opened up, and I was working on that, and I was obsessing on it so much. It's like I've got to go make this video game, so I literally can't do this anymore. I got it. I was originally collecting like vinyls and stuff, and when I got out of our filming studio, I was really sick, like basically like dying sick, and couldn't take being in light, and my hands were always really shaky. So I got into modeling to kind of like steady my motor skills down.
Mm-hmm.
And found out how to buy kits direct from Japan, and that was really seeing all the kits that were out there. I was bringing them in for people at the time, so I had a lot of kits that I was reselling and making money on it. But at that point, it was like I have to get rid of all of this and never do a model kit again. I have to step away from Godzilla. And went about my work, and as the arcade opened in 2010, and a few years went by, and people started to notice that we had Godzilla games, and G-Fest kind of reached out to us and was like, hey, can you bring some games? And we're like, yeah, we'll bring them, but I'm not going. So like I refuse to go because it's like a drug addiction for me. I can't be around it. So we would take games, and every year they would ask if, hey, do you want some free passes? Come hang out. I was like, no, don't want it. So this is maybe 5 years ago now. There's a guy on the radio, Mancow, who was a huge radio personality. We had become good friends. He huge Ultraman collector. So he was like, hey, can you get me some stuff from Japan? So I'm like, yeah, I can track you down some stuff. Like, we had built up all of our connections in Japan because we're bringing in all the arcade games and finding rare boards and everything, and talking to creators. And I was like, yeah, I can bring some kaiju stuff in for you, no problem. G-Fest rolls around, and he's like, oh, you gotta go. He's like, I can't go. Can you go and just see if there's anything that I would want? And I'm like, no, man, I don't want to go. And it's really dangerous. So he eventually talks me into it, and I go there, and I'm walking around the whole show floor, and it's like, oh, vinyls and posters and toys and this and that, and I'm fine. And then I roll up to the absolute last booth, and it's Kaiju Modeler, and Matt's there, and And I'm showing my girlfriend at the time. I'm like, look at these kits. I'm like, oh, there's all the kits I remember. They're all here. And I pull up my phone and I'm like showing the girlfriend. I'm like, hey, look, there's a Titanosaurus kit by Resin Chef. And Bill Gudmundson walked by. I knew him from House of Monsters back in the city, and I'm like, this is the guy that sculpted that kit.
Mm-hmm.
And Matt behind the counter is behind the booth. He's like, oh, is that KaijuKits.com? Oh yeah, this guy Ghost Lord, he set up this site forever ago. Everybody still uses it. He disappeared forever ago, but like he gave everybody the information about how to buy kits, and he's like, that was a big influence on me opening up my company. I'm like, what? Like, what are you talking about? I'm like, that's me. And 5 minutes later,
wow,
got me. There's people from Japan saying, oh, I love the site, shaking hands with them, and people taking pictures. I'm like, I haven't updated the site in we're still using it.
right?
And it was such a weird thing and just so out of the blue. And he's like, look, man, you've done so much for the modeling community. I want to give you this kit. And I'm like, no, I don't want that. I don't want that.
Here's a taste.
Yeah.
Here's a taste. You'll be back.
Mankow's like, do it, take the kit. And I'm like, no, this is not a good thing for me. And it's kind of like the arcade where it's like it's a compulsion and an obsession, but it's kind of good for other people. Like the arcade, it's like, yeah, this is a heavy compulsion. It's a psychological problem I have, but other people enjoy it. So do it. So like 10 minutes later, I'm paying Matt like $2,000 in new kits.
Oh God.
I'm been a complete train wreck ever since. And now Kaiju Kobo has opened up, and I have my crazy lists of all the kits that I've got and the things I'm looking for, and obsessively checking auction sites and bothering people online 24/7. And I'm creeping up on, I got 485 kits right now.
Oh, dang. Let me write that down.
Oh my Jesus.
And I'm there's 28 more than I'm looking for right now. And then I should be done until next Wonderfest.
Oh my God.
Wow.
485 kits.
485. Yeah.
And you know what? We know, because every time you post your hauls on the Kaiju Kit Builders Club, it's like sometimes I just throw my phone down. I'm like, daggone it, man.
It'd be a haul.
Just when I think I'm doing good in my collecting, he comes along and has all these rare kits. And it's not just one or two. He has like maybe 10 or 15 of them. And I'm sitting there like, man, I just suck. I just suck. compared to this dude.
It's a problem.
Yeah. God, no.
You know what? It's like somebody that collects Jordans. You know, it's only a problem if you look at it that way. I don't look at it that way at all. So again, Marcellus, before you came on for the prep, I told Doc that Sandra and I, we're going to drive to G-Fest this year. We're not flying, we're going to drive. And I said, at some point, we have got to go over there and see his model kit studio. Like, we have got to. Like,
I don't want to see it.
Nope. We're going to pile in the car.
Mm-mm.
We're going to drive over there. And I told him, like, for his best interest, don't have any of those Monster Maker 28 kits. I'm coming away with something. No. I'm like Denzel Washington. I'm coming away with something.
Yep. I love Doc too much to come see his kits. I do. I love our friendship. He's an amazing guy. I love Doc. I can't come see his stuff. because it's gonna be a burglary on point, on spot. He getting robbed on spot. I can't do it.
It's not really burglary. You're gonna show up at that daggone U-Haul. Like, where do I move in? Where do I sleep at? I'm over there.
Yeah.
Okay.
We gonna duct tape him, and he gonna. Yeah, I can't come see his stuff. I really can't.
We've got over our pinball building. So we've got this building. We've got our gym and martial arts school. Then we've got our pinball building, which has apartments over it. So if you need to crash out here,
man,
why'd you say that? Why'd you say that?
Well, because Doc is really nice, cool like that. Yo, when I saw his video, this was my face for that whole 45 minutes. I was like that. I was like that. No way. No way in the world. Bro, I never even wiped it. It was just dripping. I was going.
Like, I look at the background, like I see the stuff that you're showing, and it's like the super collectors, like, you guys
get out of here, man. I got one little ant shelf, like, bro. No, man.
You showed those gargantuas, and now I'm like, yeah, I do need those.
Yeah, they off the. Hey, Doc, they are amazing.
Those are incredible.
They are.
You have convinced me. I've got to add. I've got to add them to the list.
Yeah.
You know what? On second thought, maybe we shouldn't show up because I'm telling you, Doc, it might be an Ocean's 11 situation. Like, we're gonna
it is. I'm trying to tell you, Leslie. Jesus saved me from all of that. I can't. That's too much, bro. I was watching that video and I was just like,
me too.
Serious, bro? Woo! Pastor left the building, bro. I was like, okay, we go through the back door, get to the front window, we can cut the. Jesus, no, I'm just clowning, but man, your stuff, my God, man, I admire it. Lord have mercy.
And he was just panning across his inventory of kits. I was like, wait, what was that one?
Right.
What? He got that one.
And it was all in sections, all neat. It was everything was just together. I was just like, wow, that's what heaven looks like. I can't wait to die.
After that stream was over, I texted him. I was like, hey, dude, we got to do something this weekend. I don't care. I don't care if you got to clear your schedule. I don't care. I don't care if you have to stream from a Burger King bathroom. We got to have a show next week. I don't care.
Hey, Leslie, you tell the opposite because I was like, yeah, I ain't going to talk to Doc for about 3 months. I got to get that out of my system. And then here you go, hey, come on the show with Doc. I'm like, oh, my God. Your collection is amazing, man.
It's amazing, yeah.
Absolutely incredible. Yeah. God almighty.
So, like, I was very fortunate. I got to sit down with Robert at the last G-Fest. And it was such an amazing conversation. Because, like, I don't talk to anybody very much about kits. Like, there's nobody around here that's into them. So it was like G-Fest. That was the first G-Fest that I really got to talk to somebody. And like, I've talked to, obviously, like, we've all talked. And but it was such a really good thing. But, Robert had such an amazing collection. And he wasn't he wouldn't even tell you what he had.
Nope.
And there's a lot of that similarities with a lot of arcade collectors. You never know what they've got. And it's like, I try to help people get kits all the time. Like, somebody wants something rare, especially now. I'm seeing how much connection kaijukits.com has out in Japan. And I've had sculptors just send me kits, and it's like, oh, like, that's insane. It's like, it's to get to talk to these people who are creating these kits, and they're like on such a different pedestal for me. Like, I'm such a huge fan of them. It's amazing. And it's why I take it so, you guys have said some amazingly humbling things about the kits that we've been producing and stuff. It means so much to me to hear that. And we're trying to compete with guys like, not compete, but the bar is so high, like Yuji Sakai kit or a MM28 kit or an Asai kit. It's like, those are unbelievable. It's amazing to work on them. Like, I hesitate to even build some of them because it's like, oh, this is perfect. Like, this is such a perfect kit. It's an amazing thing just to be in the same scene creating similar things.
Absolutely.
You guys, Marcellus, Greg, you guys painting them, and I feel so bad that, like, usually I'll get a kit and I've got like right now we have 2 kits coming in. I have to have 2 kits that I don't even have yet that both have to be painted before the 6th. So I have 5 days to paint our 2 new kits and make packaging for them and get them licensed to the TFO show. So, like, I don't even really get to see what the kits look like until, Leslie, you're buying them and then giving them to these guys. Get the first paint job done on them. So I'm honored. The paint jobs you guys do on these kits is just phenomenal.
Thank you.
You guys really make them look how they should.
Absolutely.
Well, we were talking before the show, your kits. Thank you for making these kits and making them pretty much seamless to put together. I mean, like we were discussing before, some of these older kits or even some newer kits, it's like the gaps on them are ridiculous, and we have to sculpt and do all of these things. I'm sure Marcellus knows. And seriously, Doc, thanks. These kits, when we're doing these for clients like Leslie, it's just how they go together, and the sculpts are fantastic. They are. They're just that King Caesar, the Baragon. They're awesome. You know, I get them to the point where I tell Leslie, I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm going to ship this to you. I kind of want this. I'm like, this is really cool. All right, I'll ship it to you.
He the same way.
Absolutely.
For me, it's such the sculptors we work with. Jake Rebel from Monster Rage. Zito Joe is our newest sculptor. He did our -1 kit. And he just finished up our Shimo kit, which is unbelievable. It is so good, this kit. And it's big. It's big. And finishing up the licensing on that one, that'll be our first fully US licensed kit, assuming everything goes through. And then Burly Vang with our 72 Godzilla. So, like, we're working. For me, I just kind of get to complain until everything's good. So, like, I'm not sculpting them. I'm not. I don't do the molds. We've got our guy Ken Coy with Coy Concept. That guy is incredible at what he does. He'll re-engineer things. He makes things seamless. And if something isn't right, like, he's the first to be like, yeah, this mold isn't holding up. We're doing a new mold. And it gets expensive on the production side. And in all honesty, the sales numbers are really low. But even with doing there's a few kits that we've done, none sold. And it's because we're still doing rare, like we did the entire Final Wars line. And people are asking, like, oh, where's your 62 Godzilla? Where's your 64? And all these kits that have been done a bunch. And it's like, we wanted to start with kits like Orga, because, like, who was doing an Orga?
Jeez.
And I didn't really see it until Marcellus, you did. Like, that is, you have that paint job.
Favorite kit.
That is unbelievable seeing what you did with that kit. But it's one of those things where we wanted to do some of the more obscure stuff because we're still dialing stuff in. If you look at our Orga kit, that had putty work that it needed. And now the newer kits are getting better. Like that Baragon kit, I thought was really dialed in.
That was great.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
That was great. I barely had to use, I mean, geez, on that one, I don't even think you always, I mean, just from my background, I always use a tiny, but I'm just like going like this. I'm like, there is like nothing there. Like it is just flush, you know, and no Dremel, no mask on, no sitting there going, oh, especially when it's 20 degrees out and I have to go out in my garage, which I'm doing now with Leslie's kit that I'm doing. So that's
I'm in my garage. This is my garage.
But I want to ask you, Doc.
I'm gonna tell you how you warm it too, Greg. I'm sorry.
Greg, let's do the screen share before I ask Doc the next question. Let's do the screen share if you don't mind, so we can get some of these images up here. So bear with us, folks.
Let's see. So
Greg,
can you?
Here we go.
So are you folks seeing that?
Yeah, but let's save that for the very end. Let's start off with the first images that I sent you. You know, with
so don't mind me. I'm just gonna go real fast. Wait, hold on. So which one do you want to go? You want to go to the Baragon first?
Let's go to. Actually, you know what? Keep on going. I'll tell you when to stop. Right. No, back to the 72.
Boop, boop, boop.
Right there, and blow it up if you can. Okay, here we go. Now, this is the first kit I ever got from Galloping Ghost. It's the 1972 30cm Godzilla. And like you said, Doc, you know, the fact that you were doing these obscure kaiju is really, I think, it's really going to garner you. It's going to garner you the most sales because everybody has done a 54. Everybody has done a 62. Everybody has done the 84. You know, and which is fine because they're popular characters. But this guy in particular, I make no bones about the fact that even though this is my favorite version of the Shoshingeki suit, I know it's not a favorite for a lot of people because how it looked in the film. You know, but you did such a great job with this kit, you know, as well as Burley Vang. But I want to ask, you know, since Burley Vang was responsible for this sculpt, are you open to collaborating with other independent artists? Let's say if they want to put a kit out there and maybe, you know, get involved with your company, are you open to doing stuff like that, like what Burley did?
Oh, absolutely. Like this was the only kit that I had no input on this kit. Burley had it. He's like, hey, I'm working on this, and would you be open to producing it? And I was like I was a little hesitant at first, only because me and the sculptors usually have a ton of months and months of back and forth on a kit. Anywhere between, I think our quickest kit was done in, I think 20 iterations. And our longest was probably about 120 iterations. And this was the first one where he sent some pictures of it and he's like, yeah, I'm working on it. And then he was just done with it. And he's like, do you want to produce it? And I was like, yeah, that sculpt is beautiful. And it's the only traditional hand sculpted kit that we've produced. And he did, it was a no-brainer. It was just like, yeah, well, absolutely. Like, we worked out a deal, and it's been one of the best, well-received kits that we've done. I think the demand for it was there, much higher than a lot of the Final Wars kaiju, and very open to talking with other sculptors, and even if it's just a one-off, like it's a one-and-done thing, like very open to it. Because we're using a limited license in Japan, like, again, even this one, which is one of our best sellers, like the numbers for kits in general, they're just relatively low. Like you see companies now going to Wonderfest and they're bringing like 5 of their kits. And sometimes they don't even sell out with only producing 5 of them. They just sit on them. It's so dependent. Like everything has to line up for a kit to really sell incredibly well. Especially if you're not like, if you're Sakai putting something out or a Sai, they'll sell out every single time. But a lot of these kits, especially with the price tags going up and up and up and up, a lot of it's so hard for the companies to make money on them. But yeah, we're very much open to collaborating and doing kits with other people, because in all honesty, as I said before, there's only 28 more kits out there that I want. And a lot of this is all just like selfish things, like, oh yeah, I want a full series of Final Wars kits. If anybody else buys them, that's cool, but I'll have them to build up myself, and the people that do dig them will probably really appreciate them.
Absolutely.
Right.
I want to throw this comment up from Eric Stope. He said you should distribute Burley's Imposter Godzilla as well. Is that a possibility?
It's possible. Like, it's the funniest thing. We're open to anything. There's times where somebody will suggest something, and it's like, yeah, okay, sure, we'll do that. It's any opportunity comes along, 9 times out of 10 we just do it.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
It's an unusual situation where, like, we even opening up Kaiju Kobo, we were looking at 3D printers, and it was just kind of like, my engineer was like, oh, should we get a 3D printer? And I was like, maybe. So, oh, we could make those model kits you like. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, let's order it. Get it over here. Let's start. And a month later, Kaiju Kobo was open. So it's like stuff just happens. So if it's usually things go from 0 to done pretty quick once the idea comes along.
That's awesome. Hey, Greg, let's also cycle through some of those Galloping Ghost images, his logo as well as the kits here. As we're going through this, Doc, what made you want to start Kaiju Kobo in the first place? I mean, I know because of your model kit enthusiasm and love for it is it because you wanted to bring out these characters that a lot of mainstream companies just won't touch? Is that the reason behind it?
Yeah, it was, the KOC Godzilla 99 came out, and I was like, wow, that is perfection. Like, what a beautiful kit. And there's no Orga to go along with it. So it was kind of that came out, and we got these 3D printers, and it was just kind of like, yeah, well, why don't we try that as a test? And it just kind of went from there. Like Little Godzilla, I think, was started first, but Orga actually came back from, because we did multiple sizes of the Little Godzilla, and it was just to do something new. It's like, for me, I just every day it's try to have fun, make things, work with good people. So it's it was very easy to see the kits that weren't being produced. Like, again, Kaiju kits, I look at the database and it's like, oh, there's only 2 Hedorah kits from Final Wars. Like, okay, well, maybe somebody would want one. And I know I want one. I was looking at the sculpt from the Cappadao Hedorah, and it's like, it's a very action pose, and it's a cool kit, but it wasn't suit accurate. So it's like, yeah, we could do this better. And it was more about making very accurate kits.
Absolutely. Let's go to another slide where you have the Final Wars kits. Greg, if you can, like that one. Which leads to the other question I want to ask you involving Final Wars. Doc, again, you're leaning more into the obscure kaiju. But we all know that this film is very divisive in the fan base. There are a lot of people that love it. There are a lot of people that hate it. What made you want to go on in and do the full monster roster lineup of this film? You know, because again, there's so many people that again love this film, but a lot of people don't really care for it. But what made you say, you know what, we need 30 centimeter representations of all the monsters from that film? What made you want to go all in that perspective?
It just kind of happened. Originally, I think I can't even remember who we started with. But usually I'm just looking at I'll just pick a kit to do. And this was the first time it's like we did one, and then it's like, oh well, let's do another from Final Wars. And then it just kind of snowballed. And then as we were doing more and more, it's like, oh well, we'll just do all of them. And it was we produced 7 of them at a time. So like they were all of these were done by Jake at Monster Rage, with the exception of Godzilla 2004. We actually had Jake do a sculpt, and we had Zito Joe do a sculpt as well. And we ended up using Zito Joe's sculpt, and they're so close to one another. But we needed to do something to kind of vet out how Zito's work would be. So we just went with that. And it was, again, there's so much back and forth. They're both are amazing to work with, but it was really, once we got started, it was just like, oh, there's only 6 more we have to do. Just keep going with them. Because like there's nothing else really out there for them as far as kit form. Like King Caesar and Hedorah and like there's Zilla. There's just no options. So it's just kind of like, yeah, we'll do them.
Okay. This next question is for all 3 of y'all. So y'all can answer, Doc first, then Greg, and then Marcellus. Y'all have, Marcellus, y'all have worked on these kits, all of y'all. But I want to ask, and I hate to put you on the spot, but this is just from the Final Wars lineup specifically. Which kit, whether you worked on it or not, do you feel is the absolute best kit? Which monster has the best kit from the Final Wars lineup from Galloping Ghost? Doc, again, I hate to put you on the spot, but Doc, if you had to pick a favorite or the best one, which one would that be?
It would be tough. I had so much fun painting the Hedorah, but I think probably the Anguirus was I think that was my most favorite kit to build and paint up. It fit together really good. So yeah, I would probably say the Anguirus.
Greg, what about you? What would be your favorite?
I'm going to have to go with there's Anguirus for Doc. I'm going to have to go with this guy. Sorry, this guy. I thought this was just perfect. As a huge fan of Baragon and how this design is, as far as no, you know what? I'm taking it back. This guy. Sorry, I'm going with this guy. I know I'm switching around. This guy. It just popped in my head when I got him. Because we didn't see him a lot in the film either. And looking at the suit, I really looked at the suit, a lot of reference photos, which I'm sure Doc did too. And you can tell he did, because this was so much fun. And he's just so disgusting. And, this one really grossed out my wife. And I think that's why I liked it. She was like, yeah, it looks great, but it looks really gross. Greg, just get that thing out of here. Send it to Leslie. But yeah, I'm going to have to go with this guy. Yeah, I think it looks, Doc, you did fantastic on this.
That's all Monster Rage. Jake doing like the back and forth we had on this. This was another one that the sculptors get really frustrated when it's like, oh, this is close, but not, you gotta adjust this and this and this and this and this. And they're very tolerant, the sculptors we're working with, because to me, it's, if we're going to make something that is going to get compared to a Sakai or any of the masters out there, they've got to be just perfect.
Yeah, this was just, and looking at the photos of the suit and really trying to nail what he looked like. This was a lot of fun, and it let my imagination go too. Staying with the suit, but really doing, because we don't really get, when we're doing Godzilla creatures and we're doing like a lot of stuff from the Toho stuff, you don't really get something like this, kind of like a Lovecraftian nightmare. And this was really cool. This was really cool to do.
Mm-hmm.
Marcellus, what was your favorite kit that you worked on?
From the Final Wars, man, I love that Rodan. My God, that Rodan. I loved it because the scope and everything was just on point. And then Leslie, you know this, the thing I love, there was really no reference of that Rodan. Couldn't find one really nowhere that was like an accurate thing to go off of. And then whenever I'm building, I'm always got the movie playing. And so in the movie, there's no real good catch scene. I caught it pretty much on the Anguirus, but on the Rodan, you really can't catch the colors, the way things blend. So I had to kind of like picture a lot of it off of my own.
Lord Jesus.
I had to picture a lot of it off of my own, try to scale the front of that body more, make it look like like he had hard shell type of thing. Man, but the way it went together, as you can see, the way it went together, man, was just, I tell you what, Final Wars is my least favorite movie, and Leslie know this. I was literally going to order that Rodan just to have it because it was amazing. That Rodan was absolutely incredible. And then, like I said, I love that there was no reference. So I had to really kind of like put it all together type of deal. But man, that Rodan sculpt was freaking incredible, bro. Like y'all knocked that out the park.
Again, Monster Rage spent a lot of time on that. There's little things. There's since been, so we're constantly just collecting reference materials. And it causes some problems. Like we did our 40 centimeter Orga, and we got a lot of reference material for Orga after we had done all the molds and everything. And then I was like, oh, we need to change a handful of things. And that's why we ended up doing the 30 centimeter, because there's things that we noticed very late. And there's very, very minor changes that we would love to do on this Rodan. Like it is, I love this sculpt, but there's like such subtle things that it's like, oh, maybe we'll do a version 2 at some point. But then again, it's like, it's that difficult balance and the obsession of making it as suit accurate as possible. Do you make these changes and go through casting process again, or in molds, or do you just go on to the next kit?
And I tell you one thing deceiving about that Rodan is when I got it, I couldn't believe the size. This thing was big. It's a true 30 centimeter. That thing does it is a nice size in person. That was the first thing I called and told Leslie. I said, man, the size of this thing is incredible, bro. Yeah, that I love that scope.
Absolutely. And I put this comment up from Mark Sang-Yang, Doc. He said, I admire Doc's ambition and his intention. I mean, it's the same reason I was sculpting things years ago. And Doc, again, here's another guy that, has done, great sculptures over the years. So he'll be a great guy to contract with. I'm just throwing that out there. Because you saw the work he did on a certain kit that we'll see momentarily.
Yeah, Mark is a great guy, period.
Mark is a really talented guy, really good guy too.
Yeah, he's just, I love that dude.
Yeah, he's done like original sculptures for me for years. So again, if you ever need, if you want to, venture out and have more sculptors in your network, please don't hesitate to hit up Mark Sang-Yang. And I want to give a huge shout out to Kyle. He's in the chat right now.
Kyle.
We get a Greg versus Doc Mack Jam battle at the end of this stream.
Right. I see the cards. Hey, Kyle, I got a full upfront concert at Greg's house.
That's
brother
right. Yeah.
That brother is talented, man. I almost cried and everything.
Doc, do you know any Slayer?
You've got me on play.
Yeah, dude, Greg is talented, man.
I'm serious. Yeah, when we go to G Fest, if we're all going to G Fest this year, we should really do something with Doc. Go to his crib,
Hell
him
yeah.
play
I
some
would
jams.
love that.
Absolutely.
I would love that. Seriously.
It would be an amazing thing.
Yeah, I would love to see that. So, Greg, you and Doc can jam. Kind of like versus. The versus challenge where you have like a different artist. Y'all can just jam back and forth. But don't mind me and Marcellus. We're gonna
I'm about to say.
Here's what we'll do.
Definitely be there because I was like,
I'll distract him. I'll tell you what I want, and you guys get it.
We got you, Greg. We got you. We all thinking the same thing, boy. I'm trying to tell you.
I'm just kidding, Doc. I'm just kidding. No, seriously.
We ain't kidding.
Oh my God, that's so funny. We was all thinking the same thing.
I'm telling you, bro, that Monster Maker 28, that 1964 B kit he got.
Oh my!
God.
No, he had that 66 sitting there like,
yes,
come get me. Oh my God!
I mean, so Doc, if you ever need a third arm, I can chop mine off right now so I can get the No, I'm just joking. But thank you so much for answering the questions thus far. Now, before we go into the personal works that both Greg and Marcellus has done personally for me of Galloping Ghost kits, and we're going to talk about them as we go forward here. Let me ask you three model kit builders and enthusiasts, just want to play one quick game with you. And of course, Mark San Yang, you're in the chat, or anybody else that's a model kit builder in the chat, you're more than welcome to throw your answer in the comment section. But here's a game I want to play. I want you to name the company that did the best model kit based off the characters I'm about to round off. All right, so we'll go again with Doc, Greg, and Marcellus. Okay, I named the monster, and you named the model kit company that did that character the best. You ready?
Mm-hmm. I guess.
Right. I'm old. I got a pen. I got to write it down. I'm like, what did he say? That's so bad. Greg, we talked about this.
Yeah, I don't know a lot of. We'll see what happens. This will be interesting.
All right, here we go.
Galloping Ghost.
Here's the first monster. Godzilla, 1962.
62.
Oh, y'all gonna be mad at me with that one.
I would put it at Asai or Sakai.
Yeah, Yuji Sakai for me. I mean, yeah.
I would probably put it at the. I don't own it, but and maybe it's because I don't own it. I would put it at the 1 meter Sakai.
Oh, we got Ryan Mitchell in the chat. What's up, Ryan
Wait
Mitchell?
a minute.
OG. We got the OG. OG model kit build. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you, Ryan, for being here. Marcellus, what you say?
He said the 1 meter one. Which one is that?
Sakai did a 4 foot, like the Final Goji. He did a 62. And he did a 62 and he did a 64. Mm-hmm. But I think there's like 2 of each.
You said what company did the best of the 62?
What company did the best King Goji Godzilla collectible? There's plenty to choose from. You can choose Sakai.
I would say 30 centimeter Sakai.
Or KOC or somebody. Like, who did the best King Goji?
Man, that's a tough one for me because they run an even race, but just the pinch over it is that that 47 meter
Kaiser Freaks?
Yep. The one that thing is I just freaking love that thing, man. And it's right there with the KOC. But if you ever
The
put that one
KOC
in hand,
is pretty good too.
yeah, that Kaiju Freaks, that 47 centimeter, that is top dog. That thing is amazing.
Okay, let's go with the next monster. It doesn't matter what era, but it's the monster itself. There's so many iterations of them, but still. King Ghidorah. Who had the best King Ghidorah kit?
Oh wow.
I'd say a sigh.
Yeah. Yeah, aside. Oh, go ahead, Greg. I'm sorry.
You know, even though it's a pain, this one right here that I'm building for Leslie right now, it's
Vote.
escaping me. Who?
Vote.
Oh yeah,
Volks.
this one.
Volks.
This one right now it's looking pretty good. I'm gonna go with this one because it just, the detail on this, even though it's an older kit, it looks amazing. I mean, even though I'm gonna have to build the wings on this, but still, like all of this and everything, I don't know. I'm gonna go with this.
I got both a size, so I'm gonna go with the size.
Which one? The one with the necks going in 3,000 directions, or the straight up ones?
The straight up ones. I mean, I'm looking at it. It sits in my city. The one with the straight up heads is. I love that thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Next monster.
What you about to say, Doc?
Yeah, Doc. Go ahead and say it.
There was one from Yoshinoa.
Yeah.
That is a beautiful kid.
Yeah. Super rare.
Sigh.
Yeah, super rare. I think I've only seen it maybe once ever.
Somebody had one posted for like $3,000.
Yeah, I was about to say it was like for 3,000. Yeah, he was on there for a while. Yeah, that thing was incredible. How big is that though? How big was that?
I want to say it's
like
larger than the Asai.
Yeah, I think it's like a 40 centimeter scale.
I think it's slightly over.
Yeah, okay.
Right around there. Yeah.
I know exactly which one you're talking about.
Okay, the next monster, Godzilla, 1984.
Yeah, I'll be mad.
Doc, I'm sorry. I told you I would throw the hardball questions at you on the next stream, but you get it today. So, the best 1984 Godzilla kit. Who made it, in your opinion?
Monster Maker.
Which one? The suit or the Cybot? The suit or the Cybot?
The Cybot is absolutely beautiful. Oh man, it's so hard. Like the Sakai one is amazing too.
I'm sorry, Greg.
I'm going with this Sakai one. I'm sorry. I'm going with this. I do.
I'm about to throw a swing in that.
Sakai.
Only because I was trying to search down the Monster Maker, and the one that I finally got, and I started putting it together. I love it. It's that Zoe model.
Interesting.
Because you wouldn't give me one of your Monster Maker ones. So I mean, if I had the Monster Maker one, it would be Monster. I really like the Monster Maker one. Of course, it's hard, but I got my hands on the Zoe, and that Zoe is really, really nice. It's really nice. I know it's a little stylized a little bit, but I love it.
All right, next monster. Doesn't matter what iteration, what era, but still the monster. Mecha Godzilla.
Which year?
Doesn't matter.
Oh, okay. That's easy.
I love that. I love it that I'm stumping Doc. I think I was going to get to stump him, but he's stumped right now. I love it.
Yeah, I'm like, wait, what?
The Monster Makers Mecha Godzillas are both absolutely amazing. I would say the Monster Makers 93. I think our Mecha Godzilla, I think, is the absolute. And we spent so much time arguing on that sculpt, and I don't even think we've sent one Mecha Godzilla out.
It's going to be coming out because I'm definitely getting one from you.
It is so good. It's like 80 pieces.
Yeah.
Because it has the Mecha Godzilla, It's got a standalone Garuda if you build it up like that, or
Yep.
Super Mecha Godzilla. And we spent so much time on everything on that kit.
It looks incredible.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah, it looks incredible. I'm definitely getting that one from you. It looks incredible.
Greg, before you answer, let me ask this question. Ask this question to Doc. Now, the Garuda that comes from Mecha Godzilla, is it possible? Can you just get Garuda by itself, or you have to buy it with Mecha Godzilla?
We've only run license for the license goes in Japan when we do it. It's Mecha Godzilla, Super Mecha Godzilla, and Garuda, so it's kind of all of them. But yeah, we could do that. If you really wanted one, we could make it happen.
Yeah, I do. I would like a Garuda, honestly. Okay. Greg, the best Mecha Godzilla kit. Who did it?
I'm gonna have to go with the. I kind of like the MM2875. I think I'm gonna have to go with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is funny. I'm gonna tell you this, because Robert and John would literally say this to me all the time. The Billiken kit 75.
That's good.
They love that Billiken kit 75. Just had to throw that out there. But the Monster Maker 75 is incredible. I just love it. I got that. I got the 75 and the 74. 75 is incredible. I love that kit.
Okay. Next monster. Whew, babe, I hope you're watching. The GMK Godzilla.
I tell you, I'm going to tell you that my favorite new one. I think my favorite one now is the one that Marcellus is building for the one from. Oh my gosh, do a lot of his kits. They're right here.
George.
Blackheart Models.
Blackheart Models. That right now is my favorite. I think that thing is incredible. I just love the whole setup. Oh, I want one of those so bad. I might have to call George after this, guys. That thing's incredible. And Marcellus, that thing looks amazing too, buddy. Seriously.
Thank you. I got another one here. I'm working on too, the same one. I love that kit. That was a struggle shipping that off. If it was Leslie's, it wouldn't have made it. But because that's my sister, she got it. I kid you not. Look, with a straight face, if it was Leslie's, it was not happening. It was going to be an accidental something. That thing was amazing. It was beautiful. And then I love working with water like that. Because I put like silicone and stuff in there to make it look like it was real water dripping and stuff. I hit George up. He did a great job on that thing.
I've got a new client that's doing. We're possibly going to be doing the -1 where he's in the water. It's like the triangle shaped one. I can't remember who did it, but it's big kit. It's just his head. And I was thinking about your kit, the kit that you were doing for Leslie.
Yes, sir. Got a lot of water techniques.
Yeah. That's my favorite, Blackheart Models.
Yeah, that's mine too.
Doc, you didn't answer the question. The GMK Godzilla, who did the best?
I really like the Tanaka Studio. They put out that huge spiral re-release. That is a beautiful kit. It's really impressive. I really like that one. I've got the Sakai ones are amazing. The MM28s are amazing, but just the sculpt and the size of it, I'd say that's
size. Whew, yeah, I've seen it one time.
Okay, the next monster. 1972 Gigan. Who did it the best?
Oh shoot.
72. Like the Resin Chef, but I'd go Monster Maker 28.
Ditto.
I gotta say this. Far as Monster Maker 28, right? But far as putting together, the X Plus resin is insane. Right here.
Hit too.
Look, that's not even glued together. that thing ain't even glued together. Everything just locks into place. Period. But the actual kit, the Monster Maker, that thing is killer.
Okay. I thought that somebody was going to say the Wave kit or the one that just came out in Wonderfest a couple weeks ago, the one that's all slim where Gigan looks like he needs to eat a sandwich or something.
No, he need to eat. No.
The Sculpt one is I picked that kit up, and it's a good kit. There was the same the Yoshinoa who did the Ghidorah did a Gigan as well, and the pose, like his arms are a little. It's a very unique pose, but that kit it's beautifully cast. It's huge too. I would throw that in the running, but I would still say Monster Maker 28. But that X Plus kit too is so.
Yeah, the way it locks together, man, is insane.
Yeah.
I just wish it was bigger. That's all.
Okay, 2 more monsters, then that's it. The next monster, Godzilla 2000. Who did the best Godzilla 2000?
2000 or 99, or it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, both 99 or 2000 doesn't matter. Which one?
I'd have to say that KOC.
Thank you.
So good.
You know what I'm gonna say.
KOC, right?
KOC is the best kit of any figure made to me that I've worked on. That KOC is hands down scary nice. That thing is incredible. If you've never seen anybody get the vinyls and all that, if you have never seen a KOC in hand, you are missing out life.
You ain't lying. You ain't lying.
That is the most beautiful kit ever. You hear me? That thing is insane. Nothing compares.
Greg, what about you? The best 2000. Who did it?
Okay, so I agree about the KOC, but I happened to get my hands on the original Yuji Sakai kit that X Plus used for their first gigantic that they did, for the first gigantic 2000. It's the maquette version.
Yeah, the one I was trying to take out your house.
Yes, he's around. He's over there. He is too big. I won't show you. And I got a good price on him because it was in literally pieces. I had to resculpt his teeth, but I built that over COVID when I was working from home, and I just would sit there at my desk and work, and just my personal favorite is that one, but I think the KOC is the best one. I've never built it. It looks amazing. I think it's screen accurate, but that maquette, to me, okay, that's my favorite. Is the Yuji Sakai original?
It's really nice.
It really is. I'm looking at mine right. I'm looking at mine right now. I'm like, oh yeah, that one.
Hey, it don't even got to be painted, and it's nice.
Thank you. And you know what?
Is incredible.
And you know what? I've seen a couple of people on the Kaiser Kit Builders Club. I'm not gonna say who they are, but they say they find the KOC 2099 overrated. And I'm sitting here like, dude,
no,
you ain't
not rated enough.
You're not driving me anywhere because obviously you're blind. So I don't know what you're thinking.
It's not rated enough. You hear me? That thing is insane.
It is. And the final monster, regardless of the form, but still, who made the best? Destroyer.
I know that. I got that right.
Look at Doc. His brain is frying. I'm so sorry.
It's tough. It's tough. Like Sakuda has such a good one. Black Dragon.
Yep.
Little stylized.
But Black Dragon did 3. Which one? The perfect?
Any form of.
Yeah. It don't matter what form. It don't matter what form. What is the best Destroyer kit?
So, Studio Nello.
Look at Greg. He's frustrated. Go ahead, Doc. I'm sorry.
I think The Studio Nello, I think, is my favorite Destroyer kit.
Okay, Greg, go ahead before you get all frustrated.
The new resin chef Bill Gudmundsson is doing a new
flying one,
which I am so excited. That kit looks absolutely beautiful.
The Black Dragon. That thing is. I know it's not the full version. Him, just
the perfect version, perfect one.
The perfect version. That thing is just. Again, going back to maquette, I love how that. I kind of like it when an artist takes their own creative liberties to it. I know it's not screen accurate, but man, is that thing! It's just so ferocious looking. I'm looking at it right now because I had to just look it up and just say, is that really the one that you like? And man, I wish I had that thing right now.
Listen.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's incredible.
This is the Black Dragon. The Black Dragon, the full form. I wanted that thing forever. So then when X Plus did it, X Plus did such an amazing job on the figure that I didn't even look for the kit no more because they did an amazing job doing that thing in the RMC.
Absolutely.
That thing is incredible. Like I couldn't have done a better job than what X Plus did already. Just buy it straight out. I love it. Even though it's stylized, that thing is there's nothing. I don't like nothing that's better than that. That thing is insane.
Absolutely. All right, Greg.
Remember, I told you it was the figure of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Greg. Now we can go towards the slideshow so we can talk about the works that you've done. Let's start off with you with the GMK Baragon. Let's go to those two pictures.
And boom, there we go.
Okay. So before you go, Greg, Dot, just give your overall thoughts, like what you think. The sculpt, Greg's paint job. What you think?
We had Jake Rebel Monster Rage sculpt this for us, and the sculpt is perfect. We had a lot of back and forth on this, and Greg, you did unbelievable on this one.
Thank you, man.
It is amazing to see your work on that. Like this kit, very special. We had we did the 30 centimeter version, we did the 60 centimeter version, and then John Legrand was talking about a bust. So we did this bust literally just because John was talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, I bet we could do a really cool bust of this one. And we did it, and he's like, oh, it's too big. I was like, oh, sorry. That's kind of the cool thing. There's sometimes we're able to do kits that it's like they're for one person in mind. And we've it's licensed for the next TFO show, so we'll see if any move. It's PLA, so it's a little different. It's one of the, as some of the kits get larger, doing them out of PLA instead of resin, there's crazy benefits to doing it that way. They're lighter, especially like the -1 kit that we're doing. Shipping those off to Japan is difficult with the size of them. So PLA is a good way to go. But this one, we were able to present it to Ryota, who played Baragon and GMK. And she's coming back sometime this year. And Greg, I would love to get you to paint one up to present to her, because we did a kit. And yes, you're definitely, I would love to give her one of your pieces of art, man.
Yes.
I would absolutely be honored to do that. Seriously. I would love to. I would love to. That just
I'm about to cry. Right.
You know how to get a hold of me.
Cool.
So Greg, like, again, what you think? I mean, this is the first full scale model kit of a kaiju that you did for me, which started this solid working relationship that you and I have. Again, as Doc said, what Marcellus has said, what I have said, you had knocked this thing out of the park. Like, so what you think?
It's funny, when I started doing this, I was looking at reference photos and, of the suit and everything. And I'm trying to just capture, not just try to get it to the point where it looks screen accurate, but also just give it life. That's the main thing. Doing the eyes, doing the teeth and everything. So for me, this kit was amazing to do. It went together perfectly. And just painting it was just so much fun. All of these kits, seriously, sitting down and painting them, they've been great. I think Marcellus can say it too. They're very easy to put together.
Yep.
The sculpt on this, the detail on this, if you can see, like right in here,
all in the groove,
these little areas in here where the skin folds, it looks like the suit, but it also looks real.
That's what you look for.
I loved it. I thought it was great. It was just, and I loved that I was doing it for, not to get too sappy, a really good friend. This was, I think, the first thing I ever did for you, Leslie, right? I think it was.
Yes, it was the first. It was the one.
Yeah.
I remember we were at G Fest, and because I didn't know about the thing existing until we went down to the game room. That's where we saw Doc, right? And and trying to get him away from a crowd of people was trying to like find a hamburger in a desert somewhere. It was just hard. We were like picking our spots. When somebody would leave, we would like walk over there, and somebody would walk up to him like, "Oh God," because I'm not one of these people that try to bombard a conversation. I like to pick my spot when somebody's free. I like to say, "Hey," talk to him, whatever. But Doc, he was like one of the most popular people at that convention, especially in that room. So when I saw him there, and I saw the GMK Baragon, and I saw this one, and I saw the bigger one, I was so torn. I was like, I want the bigger one, but I like the 30 centimeter too. But thanks to Sandra, we were able to work it out. But yeah, this one, this was such an amazing kit to have. And again, it's another monster out there that's heavily popular, but does not have too many proper representations of. And before we go to the next kaiju that Marcellus did, let me throw this
like it walked off the movie set.
Show did.
Thanks.
This is from Kaijubi. He said it looks incredible. Hi everyone, that is Brett Mullen. In case you don't know, Doc, Brett Mullen is a videographer, and he's been doing these collector spotlights as of late, where he goes to people in their collection rooms and do like a interview with them about them being collectors. And Brett, if you're listening, I'm throwing it out there. If you want to make a trip to Chicago or Brookfield or wherever Doc is living and do an interview with him with his model kits, hey, hey, I'm just saying. So, I'm just throwing that out there, Doc, if you're open to that type of thing.
For sure. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I would suggest go to Kaijubi. It's a new channel on YouTube. He's done one of me and Sandra. He's done one of Octil. And he's open to doing with other collectors in the community. And it's not just, realistic stuff like what I deal with, or Sofubi, what Octil does or whatever. It's anything Godzilla collectible related. So I'm sure he won't mind setting up something with you, Doc, as well as Greg, as well as Marcellus. You know what I'm saying? If y'all open to do it, I'm sure he's open to at least talking with you about that. Okay? So, cool. All right, let's go towards the next model kit. Let's show the Final Wars Anguirus, courtesy of Mr. Sellers. Okay, again, Doc, what you think? Overall thoughts? Let's go.
This was one of the most fun kits that I've put together. I just really liked how it went together. A huge Anguirus fan in general. Again, we spent a lot of time going back and forth on the sculpt. This was one that we've been talking about doing a much larger version of it. This is one that we'll probably do, like we've talked about, a 60 centimeter version. We've been talking about doing like the meter, like a really big one, but it gets so long. This thing would probably be like 8 or 9 feet long if we did one of our large ones of it. So it's something it's still on the table. Like if we had a little bit more time, we would already be working on it. So I love this one. This one, the paint job on it is phenomenal. Usually when I see your guys' kits, it's like, it's one of those things where if it would be great to have you guys doing box art and stuff, because this is a 1,000 times better than this is what gets people excited for these kits.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Right.
this is where they're seeing this one was like, oh, that is incredible. That's how it should look. And that's the motivating thing. Marcellus, like with your Orga kids, you're the one that's made more people want to buy it than anyone. Like seeing your Orga and the Anguirus, it's like you guys and Greg, like that Baragon, as soon as you posted that, I'm getting messages. And it's like,
Right.
Aw. That's awesome.
Leslie, my heart skipped for a hot second because Jade walked on the scene, but
okay, I know what you're doing.
yeah, my heart dropped on the scene. This thing, when I tell you, man, your kits, and I'm not going to jump ahead because I know we'll talk about it, but the way they go together, the way your kits go together is so easy. One of the challenges I had doing Anguirus was the spikes, because when I had to do the spikes on one time, that thing took me almost 20 hours, right? But because of the way you made it in those sections, it was just so easy to just airbrush off the tips of those and then do the colors. And it was just, I mean, the way you put those things together, it was just absolutely amazing. It was funny though, because I think I had how many sets of horns? I think first I didn't have horns, then he sent me horns. I lost the horns. Then he sent me some more horns. We went through a thing with them horns. Oh my God, I don't know what it was with them doggone horns. But the way you put this thing together, anybody that does an Anguirus need to do it like that, especially the back, because I think that was in like 5 pieces. And so to have it in those 5 pieces, it was so, when I tell you it was so much easy to paint all of those on one section, where the last Anguirus took me about 20 plus hours to do the spikes. This one only took me probably like 5 hours. And the scope was just so accurate. And now again, because of the final wars, it's just that quick fight scene. You couldn't really, you had no references, you know. And so me and Leslie kept going through different clips of the movie and pulling this, because, you know, I try to get the paint job as close as possible. But man, that kit was amazing, man. It was. And here's this last thing I'm gonna say. Your kits are so deceiving, because when you get them, they are so much bigger. Like this, the picture's not doing this thing no justice. But I think I did a side by side with this in the Monster Maker 28, 72 Anguirus, or 68, one of them, and it's as big as that. That thing is nice size, very nice size.
The tail is super long. I tell you that much.
Yeah. It's those kits are accurate. Yeah, look at that thing. The kits are very accurate to the size. And in his, you know, we had to pull out the color in his spikes because they were completely different. And we was trying to get that orangish yellow that it's hard to see in the movie because there's always a fight scene. Yeah. So.
Absolutely. All right, Greg, let's go towards the next monster. Let's go towards your final war Smog monster.
The Smoggy. That thing is insane.
All right, Doc, you're back in the hot seat. Again, your overall thoughts. What you think?
Another one. This was one I was so excited for. This one, there was only Alpha put one out, and it's a really cool kit. But the more I started looking at it, it's like, oh, that's not accurate, and that's not accurate, and that it's one of those things where there's so few references, and it's on the screen for such a short amount of time. Right when we were working on this, the that Godzilla versus the anniversary short came out, and it had so many new angles of Hedorah. So it was like we were screen capturing that and sending that to Jake, and it was just so much new information to work with. And it was another one. It was, there's not a lot of images to work off of. And I love it. The paint job on this is incredible. Like it's so good. This is another one that, just people seeing it. Same thing. It's like people are like, when's that being released? It's like, oh, it's been out. It's already done. Like, I think
Thank you, Doc.
Are putting them out there. I think you're putting us more on the map because like you just these paint jobs are just so good, and getting in front of people and people seeing them being like, who's making that? And we're getting like emails and Facebook messages about them. So it's your work is just so good. Like
Thank you.
At mine over there, and it's like,
Yeah. Yo, can I say something about that one? I was at Greg's house when he started putting that thing together, and I know Greg, y'all, and man, the way from when you started putting together, I was trying to figure out how you were going to find the color scheme in that thing, and you freaking killed the color in that. Like, because I think I told you, I said better you than me on that one, and man, you killed the colors in that thing. Good grief.
Like Doc said, there's not a lot of reference photos for this version. He's only in the movie, I think, for a total of maybe, and I'm being generous, 20 seconds. I don't know. So, and I love the redesign of it. And then when the short came out, we saw that was cool. But I was actually finding there was a photo of it's on display in Japan, the suit, and that's where I got a lot of the reference for these colors. There's a lot of colors in there, and I really wanted this part right here to look absolutely disgusting. Just so gross, and almost give it a translucent look. So I really went heavy on it's like a sealant that I use. So I did like seriously probably 10 coats just on this alone. I really wanted this to look translucent, and the fades of the reds. There's a lot going on in here. Like I said, my wife can't stand this one. Not that she didn't think it looked good. She's just like, it's so gross. It's just get it out of here.
Did you do a lot of airbrushing in that?
This is a combination of both everything. Yeah. Dry brushing, airbrushing. Yeah, this one had everything, which I try to do. I try to do a little bit of everything, especially around his eyes. Yeah. There was like in here, there was some airbrushing done. And in here, these little guys right here, I actually used these little markers that you can buy. And then what I would do is put it in kind of harshly for these little tiny vein here. I'm pointing at the camera like an idiot. I see them. Right here, and then do airbrush over the top of them to make it a little bit more translucent looking, so it fades in, so they're not just so abrupt. So with almost like a bluish black tint that I was using. But he was fun. He was a lot of fun to do. Well, it was my favorite one to do.
Yeah, that's great.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, let's go towards Marcellus' next work with the Final Wars Rodan. Again, Doc, go for it.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Again, the sculpt on this, Jake over at Monster Rage, again, just absolutely killing it. There was so many little details that we were trying to get. Again, there was no Final Wars. there was who did it? Dimos did Rodan on the building tops, and that looked great, but like it wasn't very accurate. So this was, we had a all right amount of reference material to get a lot of the little details in, and the sculpt is absolutely amazing. This paint job just makes everything on it pop so much, and like the grittiness, like you look at the neck, how you did that neck, man. Everything, the shading is so good. It's so good.
Thank you.
The eye too. It's like that's how it should be looking. Like that's phenomenal, man. That is incredible.
Thank
This
you.
is great. Great
Thank
work
you.
here. I love this area. I love this. Yeah, the whole thing, Marcellus, you knocked this out of the park, man.
Thank you.
This thing
Thank
looks
you.
so good.
Thank you. That had to be the hardest thing to do with no real reference, because we couldn't find it, man. Like we couldn't. I love the sculpt. I mean, the kit was incredible. The way it was weird because the way the wings on the tips were like almost like the stands where you don't need nothing. It just stands perfectly.
Yeah.
Everything was amazing, man. That kit. And I think the thing that threw me more than anything was the size. When I got it and I saw the size of it, because I think I put it together and I sent it to Leslie. I was like, dude, look at the size of this thing. Because I was working on this and I was working on 2 Monster Maker Gaios 95s at the same time. And I had all of them in the picture together. And I was like, man, this thing is big as the Monster Makers. Like the size of it was amazing. And I was like, that's the only one that I wanted because I don't like the movie. But that Rodan, I remember I kept saying I wanted that Rodan. I did. It was nice.
That paint job is killer. Man. That paint job is killer, man.
I love this.
You know how hard we was with that paint job. Oh my God! I think I changed that color like 3 times.
And you barely see this thing in there. Like, what in the heck is this? Ew! Yeah. It's like yuck. I
right.
never knew you never saw the back of them. Like,
No.
what is that?
No. The best scene that you get from Rodan, man, is when he's twirling down, falling out of the sky in the movie.
Yeah.
Like we couldn't find those shots, man, for nothing.
We spent so much time. There's a couple of the books that they put out in Japan that had assembling the suits, and we're sending every image that we can get. We're all over Twitter searching Twitter for people that are in Japan that are taking pictures of the suits on display.
Yeah.
And there's the DNA project and everything. And it's so difficult to track down so many of these. And stealing all of these. The Rodan is one where it's like, it measures right. Like you get what they say the kaiju, how big it's supposed to be in meters. Like it's 120 meters. Which for us, I think 100 meters is 30 centimeters.
Mm-hmm.
But you see the pictures of the actual suits, and it's like, well, is that going to be too big? Like the Rodan, I worried that we were just a hair too large. Our model, we literally just got that back. We redid the mold completely because it was like, it's just a little too large. And we did the same thing with Kamunga. It's like, it looked perfect, but just too big. So we spent the money to redo the molds on them. And it's one of those things where, like Kamunga, I think we've sold 2 or 3 of those kits. And like, we'll never recoup the cost of redoing the molds, but we want to make sure they're accurate. So like, I think there's 2 people that have bought the entire line of kits for Final Wars, and they're going to that extent, which is crazy. It's like so many kits to be picking up, and it's not most of the kit builders favorite movies. So have anybody buy all of them is just kind of it's humbling. It's kind of
right.
enough to do that, and we want to make sure we're doing them right.
And also, Doc, it's like you picked a line where there's not a lot of reference. for these either, which I commend you for, because like I had like again going back to this, how did you find this? Like you just scoured and looked like all of like back stuff. I think it's cool, but
put out that new series of books, and those had so many like new shots, and that was really what changed with Orga. We got the book after we had done the 40 centimeter, and we're like, oh my God, it's all wrong. Like, redo it. And we had sold a handful of them, but we were like, we can make it better. And maybe we'll do a reissue at some point of the 40 centimeter. It's another one where there's no shortage of kits for me to paint right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you got 485. I got it written down.
You wrote that down?
I sure did. I'm a pastor. I take notes.
How many do you have? How many kits you got?
Do I got? I think I counted the other day, man. I only got like, if I'm mistaken, it was only like 93.
See, yeah, the best thing about a super collector, it's like, I know you're probably counting every single day. You probably have a list of all.
I do. 93.
But you ask a super collector, and it's like, oh, I maybe have. It's always,
you're LeBron James. You're LeBron. You're 485. God. I would awesome. I would never show mine again. I'd never do that again.
That's awesome. All right, Greg, let's go with your last monster that we're going to show. The Final Wars Okinawan God.
Okinawan God. Yeah.
There you go.
I remember this one.
Yeah, you're up at it again. What you think?
Yeah.
This one, I was so excited. Again, Dimos did one, and it's he's in kind of a running pose, and it was Jake Monsters Rage. He was like, this was one we were starting to have. He was like, I don't want to do any more work on this. I'm sick of working on this. It was so hard to get this one to look good. And making it worse, there's 2 sets of ears on it, so you can have up or down. And it was one where, like, I love this kit. The paint job, perfect. Like, to me, this is one I would make adjustments to it still. It's hard to ever be done with them. You want to release stuff. And it's easily the most accurate thing out there. But there's still, it's like, should this be different? But it's the I don't know. I can obsess on this stuff, and it's why our video game has not come out in 30 years. It's like, you got to put it out. So I'm really happy with this one. It's one, I think the texture on the body, Jake nailed it. And again, same thing, like the shading you've done on it, every detail on it pops out. So
he brought it to life.
He really did. It looks beautiful. It is absolutely.
Thank you.
Great.
For this one, I actually made the tongue and opened up his mouth a little bit more, because Leslie wanted his mouth to be open more. So I opened up the tongue, resculpted this part, and made his tongue. His eyes were a lot of fun to do. I have to say, the eyes on this were really they just came out. You know what I mean? They just flowed through. This was a great kit too. This one, as far as going together, even I had to do a little bit of adjusting to the mouth. It was easy. It really wasn't bad. I think I made a little adjustment here, and then I just sculpted the tongue, but that's it. Any other kit, you would have had to rip the thing apart and have to sculpt all this was great.
Mhm.
This was really fun to do.
That's awesome. All right, so let's go to Marcellus' final kit. Godzilla's first opponent in the Millennium series.
Whew.
And this is the 40-centimeter Orga from
Wow.
Galloping Ghost. And
Yeah,
Doc,
that thing is huge.
Doc, come on now. Like, you're killing us. Come on now. What you think?
The sculpt on it, I absolutely love. Again, we were making this to go next to the KOC. And it was at the time when we were sculpting this, the books weren't out that we have now. Sculpting took forever on it. It was a challenge. I was excited to see what people would think of this kit. Again, we were super rushed, as we always are, with like my paint job that I had to do on it was like, I'm not happy with it at all, but we had to get the box done so we could get the license so we could make this show. And seeing this, Marcellus, seeing it in person, it is just incredible. It was, he had it on display. Like people coming up, I want to buy this. I want to buy this.
Yeah.
He just killed it. He just killed it.
Man.
Yeah, Marcellus,
Greg.
this thing is incredible. I saw this too at G Fest, and Leslie almost didn't get this. That's all I'm gonna say.
Listen.
I was looking at that and just, you almost didn't get this, Leslie. I'm sorry. I almost walked out, kind of like the Gamera the one year. I just didn't want to die.
You know what? I still didn't get it. I still haven't gotten it yet.
Somebody else brought it.
Yeah.
What?
I didn't get it.
Yeah.
Oh.
They was coming at me, man, with crazy dollars for that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you got this.
I'm
Oh,
put
well.
this out there, Doc. I hope you still got that last one. Because Doc, you said you couldn't.
I'll get it done. I'll get it done.
Because man, every time I've done this is one of my favorite kits. I mean, I know he said he got to make change. This is one of my favorite kits, and not because of I did the work or whatever. And man, I love this thing. Listen, the very first one, I put the fingers on the wrong hands, right? 2 of the fingers on the wrong hands, and they even went on perfectly. The wrong fingers went on the wrong hands perfectly. You would never know. Not this one. Not this one. This thing, man. If you can zoom into the stomach some, if you could just stop, go back to the first one. Yep, 1 minute, back one more. And then zoom into that stomach. So the detail and stuff that you got to put into this thing, this is like shades and shades. So this second one I did, I was watching the movie Alien. And so I was trying to get that whole alien skin technique, man. The kit is just phenomenal. I even went to where, so you made the middle part of it kind of hollow. I made it completely solid. I feel the inside of that thing, I made it completely solid. It's just one of my favorite kits. And I'm not an Orga fan, but the reason why this is one of my favorite kits is the quality of, I always keep talking about this, the quality of your kits. I freaking love, right? And when you put this thing next to that KOC, they're just, it's
Perfect.
just, oh my God. Yep. When you, like at G-Fest, I don't want to say what it went for, but my very first one, somebody reached out, they brought that thing for a grip. G-Fest, somebody just came up and was just like, "Hey, would you sell it?" I was like, "Nah." There's like, "I give you such and such." I was like, "I'll have it boxed for you tomorrow." So let's just say it was like that. I was like, "Yeah, I'll come back tomorrow." And they got there before I even was there. I don't know what you could have done better than this. I do have a 30. I got a 30 centimeter over here as well because I'm doing it for Eric. Each one of these is easier, and I just find more. Man, when I'm telling you what you did, yeah, they're gonna go Eric because I have Eric. So I haven't even looked at the 30 centimeter comparison to this, but Man, I don't know what you could have done better with this Orga. This Orga is insane. And I think I was the first one that got it or something. I got like 2 of these things from it. This thing is insane.
The coloring that you did on this, Marcellus, is just phenomenal. That's why I'm keeping on this shot right here. I love the transition from the blue going to his brow, to the head, to his forehead. And you know what? Now that I know that Leslie didn't take this, I should have just taken it then.
I had to order I think this is the first one John Bringley put me on to the Tahoe books, and I ordered the book on this. And so I ordered.
That's right.
Yeah, I ordered the book, and I played the movie 1,000 times. Like it played because in there where his hands are gray, there's like a silver dry brush kind of over that to make his hands have like I don't want to say metal, but a real hard metal-y type of a look to it for like that alien look. Man, this kid is insane. I don't care what nobody say. I love this Orga. I do.
I can knock this one out of the park.
Yeah, you can. This one of those ones where you can never finish it because every time you look at it, there's just so much more depth you can do to it. I think to me personally, not because I've done it, I think it's one of Galloping Ghost's best kits to me. This kit is incredible, man. Anybody that has not gotten it, and you want a true 30 centimeter. I know Monster Maker came out with one. I didn't even get the Monster Maker. The Galloping Ghost one is insane. It just is. I mean, that thing is incredible, man.
That means so much, man. Like, to even put us in the same sentence as Monster Maker is like, again, it's, kits.
Yeah.
And say something like that, it is very humbling. It
look at that.
It means a lot. So
that kid is incredible.
I can't tell you how much that means to hear that from you.
Yeah, it is, man. It's one of my favorite kits. I'm not even being funny. It is. You know, I'm at it's like, hey man, every dollar, every penny is worth it. I need another one. That kit it's an incredible kit. It is.
If I was to do one, I would love to do this version. This size. Mm-hmm. This size is just. Yeah, I love it.
And Robert always, he always pick with me, and so he like, hey Marcellus, I got that kit. And I'd be like, bro, do you got anything? Do I have anything you don't got? So he's like, yeah, man, I did some adjustments to it. So Rob had the arm coming up, like he had the left arm, like it's grabbing out, right? And then he adjusted the leg, so it's like a more of an aggressive pose that he did to it, man. And when he sent me the pictures, my mouth was just like, what? So my next one, I'm going to do some adjustments and modifications to it as well.
Before we all kind of synced up at G-Fest last year, 2 years ago when I was there, I ran into Robert.
Mm-hmm.
And he was, before I left doing Kaiju kits the first time, he was one of the few that would send in pictures of kits. Mm-hmm. And I knew he was going to be there, so I brought him that kit.
Uh-huh.
Like, Robert, I'm a huge fan of your work. I'd like to give you this, and I would love to hear what you think of it. And he knew me and everything, and he took it. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm not a huge Orga fan." I'm like, okay. And
yeah, guys, excuse me. Okay. That was my. Oh, that was my buddy, man.
Yeah, man, sorry.
I knew him from Reputation, and I got to know him at the last G-Fest. And, it was an honor to give him that kit. And he was, I know he was like, yeah, when we were sitting down, he was telling me, he's like, yeah, I'm kit bashing it a bit. He was telling me what he's doing. I never saw it. And I think about it all the time. Like, Robert made such a huge impact on me.
Yeah. Yeah.
In that time, he came behind the counter. He sat down with me. I got to talk to him for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And I put a tribute to him on the front page of Kaiju Kits.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yeah.
was a big deal. Like, he was getting his
Yeah.
opinion of a kit and what he thought of it meant so much to me.
Yeah. I'm gonna send you the picture of it. He sent them.
I would love to see it, man. Was.
He sent it because he was picking with me. Yeah,
I only knew Robert for 3 years now. I met him 3 years ago, and in that time, I felt like I've known him for 20 years. And there's that. I'll send you guys that pic. There's a great pic of me, Marcellus, Doc,
I got it.
and Robert.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great pic, and I'll send it to you guys if you guys don't have it. It's just a really good pic.
He the one who helped me. Me and Robert talked every day on this second Orga, and I'm not trying to take up your time, but the first Orga and this one, Robert was talking to me every day because I was doing the whole Godzilla because he was helping me with the spines to do the fire on the KOC, and so we talked every day about how to make take more of the goldish and make it look like that almost translucent looking alien tannish skin. And so Robert was the one who helped me every day so if you had that in person when you see it, the skin on it had it more of a alien type of look. And he was sharing the different techniques. We were going back and forth trying to get that technique, man. And he was just a master on giving me everything he had in his brain, man, and he really helped me with that second Orga, so he always teased me. He was like, Marcel, look what I did with mine. It's got the hand raising. I bet you can't do this. And then he'll turn around and then he'll show me how to do it, So yeah, that is if anybody that's listening and you want an Orga, a 30 centimeter or a 40 centimeter, I know Monster Maker made one, but I've worked on the Galloping Ghost, and it don't go no further than that. That thing is incredible. It is an incredible kit. My God. I think I'm on the third or fourth one now. I'm going to keep this one, though. I promise you, Doc. I'm going to keep this one.
When you're ready, I'll have one for you.
Please do, man. It's one of my favorite kits. It's a beautiful kit. Oh my God, the quality of it. Y'all did an amazing job on that thing.
Man. I can't believe you're filling that body with more resin.
Yeah. I open the middle part of that, and I make that whole middle part completely full. So mine is always heavy. And here's whatever it is with the material. I think I asked you about this in G-Fest, and Greg, you could probably test this too. The type of resin material that you guys use, right? When you glue those pieces together, it is no coming apart. Like we can throw that thing back and forth. It is no coming. I have never had. I'm not even being funny. A Galloping Ghost piece break apart ever. I've never had a piece break apart. When those things are glued together, that they're not coming apart. Period.
I've shipped 4 of them to Leslie. None of them have broken.
None.
And a lot of them like that. I was really worried about Hedorah. Extremely worried about it because of that giant booger thing coming off of his. I was really worried. And no, they snap. I use 5-minute epoxy on most of my stuff. I just want to make sure that does not come apart. Some people think it's excessive. That's what I use. I use 5-minute epoxy. So, the highest, I think it's the PSI, and though they just don't come apart.
No,
they're great.
I have never had a Galloping Ghost where a part broke. Not one. I'm not even being funny.
Ken Coy, who is our guy that handles all the molds and casting. He goes so above and beyond. Like on the Kaiser Ghidorah, he's like, those tails are really long. And he runs wire through them, just through every mold. He put wire in them. So there's Like they're not going to break. Like it's so good to get to work with the guys that are so good at what they do. Again, Zito Joe, Jake Rebel, Burley Vang, and Ken Coy, and Brandon Diaz. It makes it easy. Like it's so like my easiest thing is like my hard thing is like, oh, what kit are we doing, and what's the pose, and then it's just back and forth with the sculptors and everybody doing so much. It's like the logistics of like I wanted that Orga kit to be heavy. The price point changes so much, just filling that body. Like we did that 50 centimeter trauma gamma, and its body is hollow.
Yeah.
And it's still 31 pounds. It's like to ship it, it's like I think that one's like $350 to ship it to Japan for one of them. So it's like there's all these little things that are making these kids the way they are. And some of them are like the Anguirus, the spikes, like you point out that was a cool way to do it. Like that's a mold process. Like we didn't want to do it like the old Kyoto 95 or the Kyoto 55 Anguirus where you're putting on 256 spikes on. So it there's just kind of situations that come up, and it's like we want to do this, and it's all kind of like a give and take. But so much of it to make sure that the quality is there on every kit is the important thing. Because like again, you guys are doing Sakai Monster Maker Asai kits, the KOC 99. Like if this couldn't stand next to it, why are we even bothering?
Right.
Absolutely.
It stands. It definitely stands.
It sure does.
You give me a Galloping Ghost, I'm working on that.
Absolutely. And now we can go towards the final kit. And I just got this, a couple days ago. Of course, Mark St. Yang worked on it for me. You know, he's in the chat right now, Monster Profile. And this is the 30 centimeter Galloping Ghost model kit.
Oh my God.
Of Kaiser Ghidorah from Final Wars. Let me just say this, ladies and gentlemen, before I let my co-host speak. Everybody knows I'm a huge fan of King Ghidorah. Everybody knows he's my favorite Godzilla villain in the entirety of the Godzilla universe. But I have to be honest here. Kaiser Ghidorah was never really one of my favorites. I never hated it, but he was never really one of my favorites, right? But since I was getting all these 30 centimeter Final Wars kits from Galloping Ghost, and I started putting it all together for a display, I had the Govro one, and that's a 25 centimeter scale Kaiser Ghidorah. When I put him up against the 30 centimeter kits, as you can tell, or as you would suspect, it didn't match up well. And Kaiser Ghidorah was the biggest monster in the film anyway. So I knew I had to have a 30 centimeter one. Then I found out that Dot was making one, and I was still kind of like on defense about it, you know. Really, Eric Stope, if he's still in the chat, he was the one that really pushed me over the edge to really want to go after it, because I remember him talking about it on the Monster with Attitude show, and they were talking about, you know, Galloping Ghost kits, you know, whatever. And Eric made a point to zero in, no pun intended, on Kaiser Ghidorah. He just kept going on and on about it by saying, you know what, if I had a chance to go get it, I will get it. Hopefully at some point. That thing is amazing. So that made me take another look at it. So I went back to Facebook and I saw the prototype pictures that Dot, you know, posted on there. And I was like, you know what? I'm doing it. And again, everybody knows I'm a huge King Ghidorah fan, and I've always wanted a 30 centimeter version of Ghidorah in my collection. Ironically, it would be this version. But Eric's enthusiasm and Doc's sculpt of this thing made me want to get it. And this is one of those situations where I actually love the kit of the monster more so than the monster itself. Like the Burning Godzilla, the 95 Burning Godzilla. I love collectibles of that thing, but I'm not really a big fan of the actual suit in the movie. In fact, it's not even in my top 10 of favorite Godzilla suits. But I do love the collectibles that thing has been brought out, you know, in the collectible world. The same thing goes with Kaiser Ghidorah. Don't really particularly care for him in the movie, But as a model kit, this thing is absolutely gorgeous. Mark Sang-Yang did a phenomenal job with the paint job. He did exactly what I wanted him to do. He also augmented the wings a little bit. I had the wings where they're more perked up, where he's kind of like flying or whatever. So that's the only augmentation he did make to the sculpt itself. But boy, this thing is a big chungus, as Eric Stoke will say. It's like Bagan size, the S Plus Bagan or Bagan that just came out, or Bagan or whatever. This thing is big. This thing is massive. Greg, if you can, show the picture up against the Final Wars Godzilla.
Yeah, that's what I want to see.
Yeah, throw that up if you can. That right there is the 30 centimeter S Plus Godzilla from Final Wars. And you see how he looks minuscule in comparison to Kaiser. Kaiser just towers over him. So much bigger, so much larger, so much taller. And that is how it was in the film. So Doc and Mark Sang-Yang, thank you so much for making this happen for me. I really do appreciate it. So with that being said, Doc, what do you think? How did Mark do?
Mark did absolutely phenomenal on this. I am so impressed. I literally called our lead artist out of his office to show him these pictures when I saw them. They are like, this is the Ghidorah one. Of all the kits, I don't have that one. I have all the other Ghidorah kits that Ghidorah has put out, but I don't feel the sculpt that they did was very accurate. And there's very few of them, like the T's Facto and all that. They're great kits, but they're not very suit accurate. The Ghidorah one, I've never taken too close of a look at it. I know, like, the teeth, I think it's just it doesn't have the outside layer of teeth on it. And this one was another one that Jake did, and it was just so much back and forth, and every little crack in, like, the front legs, like, every detail was paid attention to. And again, it was one of I think I had less than 2 days to paint this kit. And it's done, and we took some photos of it, but this is how it just is phenomenal. What a phenomenal paint job on it.
Absolutely.
It is.
Oh. Yeah, that's fantastic.
It really is. Just so good. The horns, like the fade on the horns and the shadowing on everything is just perfect. So good.
Like in here, just it's just chaotic beauty. You know what I mean? It's just like how it was in the film. I love this going into here. The horns, the striping on here. I mean, this is amazing modeling. And again, it's just like in the film. It's just chaotic, but it just all makes sense. The sculpt here too, Doc. This looks great.
Yeah.
It's a lot of back and forth to get it accurate. But again, it's the sculptors, it's the cast, and then it's the painters. It's like you guys are just killing this stuff and making it look like the suit. It's so good. It's like right out of the movie.
Yeah. I am a Mark fan, period. Mark taught me a whole lot. And I always tell Mark, he can't do no wrong. The way he knocks out colors and the way he comes, I've talked to him a couple of different times on the phone with certain things, and the way he put certain things together and put this to get certain colors. I mean, Mark is just a genius, man. He just is. He killed that. Like, when I saw the pictures, when I saw him post the pictures of it, my mouth dropped, but it's funny because I always know Mark's work, and he just killed that. Like, he killed that. I mean, you look at this, the like what Greg said, you look at the texture and the depth of the actual kit. There's one thing that you can do a good paint job, right? But when you have a really good kit, and I know Greg can attest to this, when you have a really good kit, you're excited about doing the paint job on there. because you didn't have to do so much work trying to make the kit come together right. So when you got a really good kit, it's just so easy to do a good paint job on a good kit. I mean, look at all the depth on that thing. Look at all the grooves and all that stuff he had to work with. I mean, he just killed it. I mean, he made that mother evil, boy.
Yeah, it's the combination of a great sculpt and a great paint job.
Exactly.
This is great. I mean, he understands depth. So one thing I always talk to people about is depth, and his level of detail on this is great. It's just, I love the black in here.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. I love how he didn't.
It's like I said, it's just beautifully chaotic.
Yep, he didn't just keep the depth. Like, he didn't balance it all through the thing. He made different areas, like from the legs and the wings. Then he you know what I'm saying? He just did. He killed that, Mark, for real.
And it is like in the film. I mean, it's a very non-traditional paint job for King Ghidorah. I mean, it really is.
I think he,
this is really cool.
He outdid the film.
It's really cool because again, he made me a super fan of, even though he may not be in my top 3 favorite Ghidorah designs, but he has elevated Kaiser Ghidorah to being one of my favorites. And this is quite not arguably, this is definitely one of my most favorite King Ghidorah collectibles I have in my collection. And this actually makes 13 Ghidorahs I have in my collection.
That looks better than the X Plus one.
Yeah.
Way better.
And but again, thank you to Mark and thank you to Doc, and also thank you to Eric Stope for nudging me to get this thing. I can't wait to show pictures of it. And now my Final Wars collection is complete. Now I don't have every single monster. I have over 15 monsters in the film. I have only 12. I'm not really feeling Hedorah, not really feeling Anguirus, I'm not really feeling Manda, but every single one of them I have in some degree in 30 centimeter scale, and I'm gonna show them on Collect All Monsters, maybe on the group sometime next week, and you'll definitely see this guy in show and tell on our main episode in a couple weeks. But again, this makes my 10th Galloping Ghost model kit, and I'm not stopping anytime soon. So again, thank you to Doc and thank you to Mark for making this happen. Let's do 2 more questions and then we'll be out of here. The next question is, and we can all answer this question too, what kaiju character would you want to see Galloping Ghost tackle next? Again, Doc, if you're able to share some things, at least maybe drop a little hint, maybe not, maybe legally you can't really say exactly what it is, but if you can drop us a hint, please do. If not, if there's something that you want to see done in your company, what would that monster be? And of course, Greg and Marcellus, you can answer that question too after Doc, and I'll follow up on the rear. So what is that one monster you want to see Galloping Ghost tackle in the future? Doc, go.
So with the Baragon that we did, like the GMK, it's kind of like Final Wars, where it's like, oh, should we do a GMK Ghidorah, a Mothra? Like, we were talking with Legendary. We have Shimo and Godzilla Jr. coming out, and Legendary was like, well, are you just doing Shimo or do you want the rest of them too? And it's like, no, we want the license for all of them. I'm like, can we do that? And they're like, yeah, that's fine. I was like, okay. So like,
that's cool.
Galloping Ghost Kong.
We have, there's 3 action pieces that we want to do from the Legendary movies that kind of in the vein of the Sakai wrap kit and the Black Dragon wrap kit. We've been thinking about doing Godzilla versus the Muto, where he's breathing fire down.
That would be.
That I gotta skip. They're all right with doing that. But that is, we would love to make a kit of that, because that would be, I think sculpting wise, it's going to be insane. But again, like the work that you guys are doing, and people like Mark it's so motivating to be like, okay, what are you guys going to do with this? So aside from that, I don't know. There's like GMK stuff. It's literally sometimes all it'll take is somebody suggesting a kit, and it's like, oh yeah, that's what we're gonna do. And we saw it with Junior. We literally saw that with Junior.
All right, Greg, what do you want to see?
So I'm going to be a little of a contrarian here. This isn't going to be anything with Godzilla. It's not even going to be Gamera. I don't really know many kits of this. I only have this one. I would love to see you guys do this guy.
Cloverfield.
Cloverfield. Yeah. I would love it. We need more of this guy. I love this creature.
I do too.
That's what I would love to see. I don't know.
Woo. Well, I'll put it on the pile.
So here I'm gonna get real deep. So since I'm a pastor, I hear from God. I hear from God, Doc.
Don't put God in it.
I'm being so for real. I hear from God. This will make you some stupid money. I'm telling you. You would not. The orders would not stop. I promise you. If you make a in-action type pose, you know what I'm gonna say, of a 30 centimeter 65, it will kill. We have none. All we have is the 25 centimeter X plus, which is in a great, amazing pose. The next thing that goes from that is the TensuCraft 65, which is it's more of a 35. I got it. It's like a 35, about a 35 centimeter. You stand on the rock.
Mm-hmm.
But a 30 centimeter 65 is killer. Because show me one. You know, and it's in the 65 in that Monster Zero. That's most of people's favorite. A lot of people's favorite Godzilla. You know, it's my favorite. It is my favorite, and there is no 65.
What is it? 10th?
The TensuCraft. Yeah, I have that one. I'm looking at it. It's more of a 35 scale because it's the same scale as the 66. It's the same scale as the 66, and it's standing on a rock type of a pose. Yeah. And then their scopes are pretty cool, but their casting is rough. It's very hard. I used to have this conversation with Robert all the time. Yeah, so then Billiken has it.
Yeah, Billiken has one.
Billiken has one, but man, you give a resin 30 centimeter 65. I guarantee, because here's the thing: most of us are Showa guys. We're going to buy almost anything Showa. You get a 65, you're not going to be able to keep that thing in stock. Because
that was really because of us getting into it and being newer, like approaching the beloved suits is kind of like, I wanted to definitely give a space, but a 65 now, I think we could do that. I think
it's going to kill. It's going to, between that and a 30 centimeter. We just said one, but a 65.
I'll listen to two. What do you got?
Well, if Galloping Ghost did a 30 centimeter King Caesar, because I think we had kind of talked about it a little bit at G Fest. But I mean, you hit any of that type of Showa, and then here's another one that may be a kind of like a throw out there too a little bit, because of the way you do certain poses and styles. Man, you hit us with a Jet Jaguar. That's a killer.
Did you see that new Itchy?
Yeah, the one that you got. I saw it. And here's what's weird. I saw that because I said, I knew it. I said, Doc, go get that. I saw it in your collection. And then I pulled it and I looked it up. It's really nice, right? But because of the way you do work and the way you guys stuff is so accurate, I think you guys will do one and pull it off that's better than the X Plus 30 centimeter. I really do.
Thank you.
Because I really love y'all work. I love your work.
Thank you.
65, man. Well, that'll be your only kit for that whole year. I promise you. They're gonna kill that. Am I right, Leslie?
You're right.
Don't have me choke you.
No. You're
Bro,
right.
You're supposed to be behind me. We're trying to protest the 65.
The message to start the sculpt. Leslie, what should we be doing?
You know what? You're right, but I would, because again, the idea is to do something that nobody else is doing. That, in my opinion, that's where you're gonna get your money.
Right.
And in my opinion, there's not too many alien abduction scenes of Godzilla with a UFO hovering above him and he got his tail tucked in.
Yeah.
Like that. You know what I'm saying? Anybody can do a 65 where he's like in a stationary pose, but there's not too many UFO abductions with the lightning bolt and he's in the bubble and he's got his tail tucked in. That would be cool.
Well,
that would be cool.
Still in that 65, yeah.
Right,
definitely.
Right. But if you're asking me what I would want, and I think, again, Ryan Mitchell said it for me in the chat, so I'm going to blow it up right now. A 30 centimeter King Caesar 74. I think that is, because again, he almost got no love last year. I know he got a few things here and there, and we thought Monster Maker 28 was going to do one. They have not done one yet. So I think that if you can you can go in and do a 30 centimeter 74 King Caesar, because that is what a lot of us are missing. We got Godzilla, we got Mega Godzilla, we got Anguirus to a certain extent, but we don't have a proper in-scale version of the 74 King Caesar. So if you can do that in a killer pose, you gave us Final Wars, the awesome Final Wars. If you can do the original, that's what I want to see.
Yep.
The Monster Maker, they've done everything else. It's really been kind of what's holding me up on it, because I've loaded that one up twice. It's like,
we've talked about it,
and it just seems like they're gonna do it, and it's so hard to have, again, the masters out in Japan doing their sculpting work. I don't want to compete with them. It's right when like Monster Rage did a Biollante, and it's a huge kit.
Yeah, I got it.
It's amazing. And but it's not very accurate. So we're like, hey, can we buy your sculpt and retool it? And
Doc.
He's not.
Doc,
okay.
That's God telling you to do it.
There you go. Did I just tell you? What I just say? I said 65 or the King Caesar. I told you I hear from God.
we have two sculptors, and they're both. I'm probably going to put them on stuff this week.
Good.
See how God works. See, that's how God works right there. You see what I'm saying?
Listen to this guy.
That is amazing, because again, that is the monster that we all wanted to see last year, and we didn't see it. We thought X Plus was going to make one, they didn't do it. We thought Monster Maker 28 was going to make one, they didn't do it. And for whatever reason, they have not done it. That is fine. But still, we should have gotten something representation-wise of King Caesar from 74. And going back to what you said, Doc, I understand that you may not want to bring something out that's going to compete with other companies. But as you just heard it here from Marcellus earlier, and I agree with them. In my opinion, your Orga trumps the Monster Maker 28. Your Orga is better than the Monster Maker 28. Their Orga. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with, even though you may be the new kid on the block, so to speak. And I mean that with the utmost respect. But again, you're one of the companies that I'm going to. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I love Monster Maker 28, but in my opinion, your sculpts, what you put out this far, is just as good, if not better. So in my opinion, put it out there, because I'm telling you, this is what the fans want. Based on what I've seen, and I will not steer you wrong. You know that. And I'm telling you right now, if you put out a 74 30 centimeter King Caesar, or at least announce it is coming, you will have guaranteed pre-orders on day one. You got 3 sitting here right now. Am I right, fellas?
Absolutely. And you know what? And I don't know if I'm jumping ahead, like if this was going to be a question, Doc. And I want to tell you this, and I'm not saying this, Doc, because you're sitting there and you're a great person. I mean, I'm dead serious. I've worked on these kits for the last couple of years, and Leslie can attest to this because I have told Leslie this. From just my experience on me working on kits, I always tell Leslie it is the KOC. I tell him the KOC, as far as like clean, come together, just really, you don't got to do a lot. I always tell him what that I work on is the KOC, the Monster Making, and the Galloping Ghost. Like I put those in the same. I put, the KOCs. We know everything just locks together because you don't really do a lot of building. But when it comes to putting the kit together, I tell him all the time that Monster Maker and Monster Maker, Galloping Ghost, and then here's I know people gonna look at me crazy, but then the Kaiser Freaks is a little under that because you got to do quite a bit of work with that. But your kits, your Galloping Ghost kits, I put those right there with the Monster Makers, and those are my top kits. When you move KOC, it is Galloping Ghost, Monster Maker, and Kaiser Freaks. I love those kits, man. Your stuff is amazing. Resin Chef stuff is really good too, but got to do a lot of work with them and stuff. But your stuff is just incredible, man. Now that's another one too. You do a bigger Mecha King Ghidorah. That's gonna be killer. But I'm retired from them things, man. That Jesus Christ, that last one I just did. But your stuff, man. If you do a King Caesar, if you hit anything like in them show us outside of a 62 and 64, which we always get, it's gonna murder, man. It is. It is. I already know. I'm telling you, your kits are incredible. They are. And I'm not just saying that because you're on here, but your stuff is amazing, man. I'm telling you.
I appreciate it so much. It is, again, it's difficult talking with Legendary, like licensing department, and I've seen you and others say that, and it's like with like the -1 kit. I know people
I'm sorry,
fans of that sculpt, and it's very humbling to even get mentioned in the same breath as like a Sakai or any of the other ones, and it means so much to us. Like I tell like Ken, who does our sculpting or our casting, how important it is to make everything perfect. And the process of all of it, it's like even down to packaging them, and like we want to make sure everything, again, those kits, the people you're mentioning that you're comparing us to are the best of the best. And it's like, it means so much to us. I've been monitoring kits and doing the kaijukits.com for 25 years. And I had a big hiatus in there, but it's a long time. I've watched how the progress of kits and how the industry is changing so much now with kits coming, like they're not doing less and less molds and more 3D printed.
3D, yeah.
You watch like Aside starting to do 3D printed kits. It's like, it's all changing, but it's incredible. So I can't tell you how humbling it is. And I tell the guys that are actually creating this, doing the sculpting, Zito Joe, Jake Rebel, Monsters Rage, Ken Coy doing the mold, Brandon doing like the engineering and stuff. It means so much to all of them to even get mentioned in the same breath as those guys. So I cannot tell you how much I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So again, Doc, we're behind you 100%. You know that. So again, thank you so much for what you have done, what you planning on doing, what you will do in the future. Really do appreciate it. One last question before we get up out of here. How does one go about getting your kits? Do you have any advice on how to get them or where to go, or what can you say about that?
It's mostly, we pretty much only talk about it on the Facebook group, like the Kit Builders group. The Kaiju Kit Builders group is when we announce the pre-orders. We have them available at the TFO show. So it's still pretty difficult. Like the people that message me, usually there's times where I have to turn them down. It's like, yeah, we're not doing a show. Next show's not for months. So until we get our license, like I put people on a list and then let them know when the pre-orders are opening up. But just hit me up on Facebook or email. Like we finally just updated our website. We've had a lot of people reaching out to us about the -1, the 127 centimeter version, which it passed licensing. So we're going to be able to do them. Which
Yes.
I got it up, Leslie. If you want to show people, I've got it up, sharing it.
Okay.
Picture of it.
Okay. Let's see. Add to the
I got the
stage.
30 centimeter one.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah. Oh my God. Man, I remember we saw this thing at G Fest last year.
Yeah.
Jesus.
well,
That's incredible.
The next step up from that is the 7-footer,
Right.
which it's sitting out in the hallway right now. We've got the upper body. The last piece is coming out. It'll be done. I think we've got for one of the back fin pieces, there's still another 100 hours of printing on like one of the small back fin pieces. So it is the upper body took 500 hours to print that out.
Whew.
And so it is a ton of time and failures on it. Like we had the last piece failed. I think it was it's like 110 hours total for the piece. We had it fail at about, it was less than 10 hours left. So
Wow.
it for 100 hours and then failed. So yeah, we have to start it over. But this one, it was so, it went together as nice as the 30 centimeter one went together. And we've been watching it. We did no interior building. Like we had so many people, you hear the nightmare stories of the Sakai Kyoto 89 one where they have to reinforce the tail. And we've had it out there. We've literally have turned the heat up overnight. We've dropped the heat. So we're stress testing it now. And it just seems to go together.
Mhm.
It was a fun build. I'm anxious to see again, this paint job extremely rushed.
Mhm.
The photos make it look really nice and everybody keeps commenting and they like the paint job on it. It's like, no, I can't wait till one of the heavy hitters gets one to do it
So
right.
what I'm gonna do, Doc, when I come to G Fest with the U-Haul, I'm gonna take that back, right? And so I'm gonna redo the paint job on it, and it's gonna take me about 7 years. So I'm gonna. No, that don't work. That don't work. Okay,
Oh
so
my God.
I'll figure out something else. Let me ask you. It's resin, right?
This is PLA.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's like a plastic.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
it's the thing with all the new 3D print stuff.
Mhm.
And really what it's interesting. I'm not seeing, there's so many of the smaller companies that are getting rid of the entire molds process. Like you look at Black Dragon, their stuff looks so good. They're doing so much cleanup. They're printing one out and then they're cleaning it and then they're doing molds.
Mhm.
It brings in a lot of the inherent problems of molds, which is part lines and seams, and just going straight out of the printer, it fixes all that. But then you've got infill, which becomes a whole nother problem. The post work becomes huge because like right now with our 127 centimeter version, we're doing all the cleanup. So it just assembles, but it's like these other companies are just shipping them the parts right out of the printer, which is very interesting. And it feels more like a kit because it's kind of the inherent thing of building a kit. Like you've got to build something and putty some seams, and it is like the KOC stuff. It's like they've taken all the work out, and it's
all of it out. Yeah,
it's so good. But at the same time, it's like, man, I remember doing some of those old Kyoto kits and doing that putty work, and it's like it can be fun to an extent. And it's interesting watching how much the industry is changing right now.
Right.
I can't wait to hear what somebody else's experience of building like this kit, especially the 7-foot one that we're doing, is just watching that come together piece by piece. It's absolutely insane. And again, my whole thing that I love seeing the most out of any of it is jumping on Facebook or jumping on Twitter, and it's like, oh wait, that's ours. Somebody made. Oh my god, good job on that is killer.
Right.
Like, that Kaiser Ghidorah, I saw that in the middle of the night, and it was like I'm just laying in bed, and I'm like, oh, should I wake the girlfriend up, let her see this right now? But it makes me, I get so excited when I see these kits built and painted up by you guys, and it's so motivating to keep. It's like, okay, well, we got to get something else going that's gonna excite you guys and get you guys talking.
Absolutely. And speaking of getting us talking, just one last thing before we go. Ryan Mitchell said, it always puzzled me why there isn't a nice 30-centimeter Godzilla Jr. from Destroyer. Doc, you want to talk about that for a couple of seconds?
Yeah.
Is that a possibility?
Should I tell the true story of how it came to be?
You know what? It's your company. It's your product. You can say what you want to say. The floor is yours.
All right. So I have Leslie here has been he's so good to us. He's talking to him at G-Fest. He has made me even more excited for so many of these things. And we were talking one day, he calls me up and he's like, what do you got coming out next? I'm like, yeah, we haven't really picked it yet. And he's like, Godzilla Jr. I'm like, yeah, there's not really a lot of Godzilla Juniors out there. Like the Kyoto one, I like that one, and I've got it. But yeah, 30. He's like, it's the anniversary. You should do it. It would be so good. And just hearing his excitement for one, it's like literally we got off the phone and I hit Jake up and I'm like, Jake, Godzilla Jr. 95, we're doing it. And he's like, okay, send me the photos. I was like, okay. So it still not a ton of great shots of the suit. There's a maquette. There's a few iterations of almost like puppets that they used for
some puppets, yeah.
And even same thing with Godzillasaurus. There's an alternate sculpt that they had for it. So it's kind of like discerning what is going to be the suit version and getting everything very accurate. And I was blown away how Jake pulled that off. It's I don't know if I sent you pictures yet. I might have sent you a couple of pictures. Didn't I?
I haven't got any yet.
Oh, I'll fix that. The sculpt on is phenomenal. It is so good. And it's printed out. It's at molds. So probably by next week, we'll be showing it off because we have to have, I believe we have until the 6th. Yeah, we'll be showing it by the 6th.
Okay. So, I can't wait. Can't wait for that.
Oh, man.
Doing the 30 centimeter, and then we're doing a smaller scale version to go along with other 30 centimeter 95 kits.
You heard it here first, folks. He's doing a 30 centimeter Godzilla Jr. and what you say, a smaller one too?
Smaller one too.
Oh my God! You know what that means? That 30 centimeter can go great with the X Plus Gigantic Burning Godzilla. It would go great with the Famous Sculptors line Aggregate Destroyer. So Doc, hey, sign me up for a Godzilla Jr. But you know what? We've had you up here for 2.5 hours. And you know what? We can go as long as 14 hours. You know what? But we're going to have you back at a later date.
Absolutely.
But I want to thank you so much. Thank you, Doc Mack, for being here, for answering these questions, for opening up, blessing us with your company, blessing us with your enthusiasm, blessing us with your products. We really do appreciate it, as well as Greg and Marcellus. Thank you all for doing what you do for the community. It's the reason why I'm so firmly behind y'all, what y'all do, your efforts and everything, because I love seeing fans giving back to the fans. Also, if you want more Doc Mack, please check out the Monsters with Attitude show. They did an interview with him a few months ago, and they asked some questions that I didn't ask them tonight. So between that video and tonight's video, you get some great insight into this awesome dude known as Doc Mack. So please check out, the Monster with Attitude show. And I'm sure you have not seen the last of Doc Mack on that show, as well as this show. He is definitely coming back, So again, you heard what he's got coming. Shimo, a great big kid for Shimo. Godzilla Jr., a Godzilla Source for the 91 film. There are great things in store for Doc Mack and Galloping Ghost, and let's firmly be behind this awesome human being. We really do appreciate it. As a matter of fact, Marcellus and Greg, let's give Doc Mack a round of applause. There you go. And I'm putting it out there right now. Me, Marcellus, and Greg. I know Eric's going to be at G-Fest too. We have got to get together at your studio, have like a little shindig, a little get-together or something. Let's put it out into existence right now. Let's make it happen. You know what I'm saying? Let's do it.
You need to make some great distractions.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. So again, if you want a great, awesome kit, please check out kaijukits.com. Also run by Doc Mack. You know what I'm saying? Hit up Galloping Ghost. You see their roster of what they've done so far. If you're interested, maybe you can hit up Doc Mack on Facebook. Maybe he can hook you up with one, whatever. Or if you are in the market of a kit and you need it built and painted, you always got Marcellus Winters. You always got Greg. You know what I'm saying? These two, you've seen their work, a little snippet of their work tonight. That is just a snippet of what these two awesome gentlemen can do. So if you're looking for a great model kit and you're able to find one, but you can't build it and paint it, look no further than Marcellus Winters and Greg Betters. They will definitely hook you up. And we really do appreciate everybody here in the chat for being here for this 2.5 hours. Really do appreciate it. And again, our next episode of Collect Doll Monsters is going down 2 weeks from tonight. The 50th anniversary of Doc's, Marcellus, and Eric Stokes' favorite Godzilla film, Terror of Mechagodzilla. So please check that out. 2 weeks from tonight, our main episode of Collect Doll Monsters. Oh, and on top of that, the Monster with Attitude is doing a retrospective discussion on that show the very next day on that Sunday. So please check out Collect Doll Monsters and Monster with Attitude for the awesome coverage, the retrospective coverage of Terror of Mechagodzilla. So again, thank you to Doc, thank you to Greg, thank you to Marcellus. I really do appreciate it. So let me close it out with our epic outro. Again, thank y'all so much. Now, until next time, our planet may be doomed, our Earth devastated, the monsters are in revolt, and civilization is in chaos. We must unite. Say it with me. And collect
all monsters.
And Galloping Ghost rules. But you know that. Take it easy, folks. We gone.